In the golden ring, everything needs to be cleaned. I am unable to accomplish it. I simply am unable to. If you can't keep it clean, why have a third plan? Nobody anticipated this gold rush bombshell. Parker Schnabel's crew's steady backbone, Chris Doumit, has reached his breaking point. The 59-year-old veteran had to make a decision that shocked fans and left the entire organization hanging by a thread because the burden of season 15 got too much for him. What do you know? I could do it with 2 plants, but we're dispersed. Red is that way, and Bob is this way. I hate to grumble and whine, but this is the way things are. 3 is too much for me. Why would this great feel the need to speak up at last? The tipping point. Even the strongest men can be broken by the Klondike. However, nobody ever imagined that Chris Doumit would be broken. But here we are at the age of 59. Gold Rush just saw the departure of Parker Schnabel's most dependable crew member. And he left behind a deafening quiet. The catalyst was an aspiration that was almost insane. Parker had his sights set on one incredible figure from the start of the season: 10,000 ounces of gold. For everyone else, it was more of a fantasy than an aim. Parker made the decision to simultaneously operate not 1, not 2, but 3 distinct wash plants in order to pursue this objective. Rockslow, Bob's plant, and Big Red. We have never attempted to operate 3 plants simultaneously before. We really need to be able to maintain 3 running in order for the season to be successful. The reasoning seemed straightforward on paper. More gold should result from more plants processing more dirt. In actuality, the crew was overworked and faced a logistical nightmare. One guy bore the brunt of the burden of this enormous undertaking. Chris Doumit, the Gold Room's veteran manager, felt the crushing pressure more than anybody else. He has consistently been the silent force behind the scenes, making sure that every gold nugget is caught. Every sal box is spotless, and every cleanup goes without a hitch. There are ridges in the bowl, and the gold is being thrown up into them and caught as it spins. Every impurity is being washed over the surface. The picker and nuggets will descend into another detective box down here if they don't pass the screen. But this season, the task went from being challenging to being practically impossible. It takes more than simply hard effort to process the concentrates and clean out the sloughs for 3 continuous processes. In the golden ring, everything needs to be cleaned. I am unable to accomplish it. I simply am unable to. If you can't keep it clean, why have a third plan? Even a man half his age would find the back-breaking, exhausting grind difficult. It was moving at an unrelenting rate, and the physical toll was becoming evident. Even though he doesn't usually grumble, this season made him do it. No amount of experience was able to save him from drowning in an unending sea of work. He had to speak up or else he would go completely insane. What do you know? I could do it with 2 plants, but we're dispersed. Red is that way, and Bob is this way. I hate to grumble and whine, but this is the way things are. 3 is too much for me. Parker had already overworked the staff, and he had no intention of removing a vital operator from a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment to assist in the gold room. Chris found himself stranded. He blurted out a name amid a difficult moment of truth. Costa, Tatiana. She was an essential member of the earth-moving crew and one of the best rock truck drivers. Perhaps Tatiana is one of our best operators. Yes, if Tatiana leaves the field, Tyson and Mitch won't be pleased. Tyson and Mitch, the foreman, would face a fresh challenge if they pulled her. The alternative, however, was to see Chris permanently leave. Parker had to make a difficult decision since his gold recovery procedure was in danger of failing. He concurred. Tatiana would receive training to assist in the gold room, giving the weary veteran some much-needed respite. We'll just take Tatiana, okay? Tatiana? Yes. Excellent. Many thanks. Thank you very much, friend. Many thanks. However, as the season progressed, a terrifying inquiry pervaded the icy Yukon atmosphere. Was it too little, too late in this desperate move? You must comprehend Chris Doumit's character and background in order to fully appreciate the significance of his leaving. His entry into the competitive world of gold mining was a total catastrophe. He wasn't raised in a mining household. He worked as a carpenter. When he was recruited to construct cabins for Todd Hoffman's original crew, it was his first experience with the industry. Instead of sal boxes and gold pans, he was an outsider with a talent for wood and nails. The Klondike, however, has an odd allure. He soon found himself knee-deep in the dirt and the craziness of the gold rush after one thing led to another. As it happened, he was naturally gifted at it. He had an amazing work ethic, a cool head, and a keen mechanical mind. Mining is more than just digging. It's a science. Simply turning on a machine, turning on the water, and starting the dirt running process isn't enough. You must solve the problem. In Season 4, everything fell into shape when he finally switched to Parker Schnabel's nascent crew. As the anchor in the gold room, he was the person Parker had complete faith in to carry out the operation's most important last phase. Year after year, Parker broke records thanks to his hard work, transforming the young upstart into a gold mining tycoon. Chris is more than just an employee. He is what keeps the frequently disjointed squad together. Temper tantrums occur in a setting where long hours, inclement weather, and the ongoing stress of equipment failures are all contributing factors. Parker's passionate nature and high standards can make things stressful. Chris serves as a calming influence throughout it all with his easygoing demeanor and sardonic sense of humor. Everyone looks to him as the voice of reason when the strain becomes too much, and he is the one who can diffuse a heated situation. He is more than just a worker. He is a confidant and mentor, a crucial counsel whose judgment Parker truly respects. But the gold room continues to be his most important function. This goes beyond simply cleaning up grime. It's a science. Thousands of dollars worth of gold could be permanently lost in the tailings due to a single little error or calculation. Their gold recovery rates are among the highest in the industry because Chris has perfected this delicate craft. Parker's remarkable gold totals just wouldn't be as high without him. It came to a total of 77,381. Music. It's unbelievable. Puts us in a great position for the upcoming years. I wish to express my gratitude to everyone. Having the appropriate personnel in charge of the cleanups is crucial because the stakes are very high. He is now being pushed beyond his physical and mental boundaries by his job, making it questionable not only if he can keep up, but also if he wants to. It's difficult for fans who have followed him for years to imagine a gold rush without Chris Doumit. However, it became brutally obvious that something had to give as the season descended into anarchy. What would happen to Parker's business as a whole if he were the one to leave? The Klondike's youthful monarch. There is only one cause of the tremendous pressure that drove Chris Doumit to the brink. Schnabel. Parker. Mining wasn't something Parker fell into by accident. He was born in the remote rocky village of Hans, Alaska, in late July of the mid-1990s. The dirt and churn of the industry surrounded him as a child. The large nugget mine was operated by his grandfather, the renowned John Schnabel. Are you discovering anything? Grandpa, what do you think? Oh my. Oh, that's lovely. Here's another. Isn't that fantastic? I'll have trouble sleeping. Parker was learning how to run the actual enormous equipment that moved mountains of soil, while other children played with toy trucks. He was already an experienced player by the time he was a teenager, juggling the tough life of a miner with high school basketball. He considered going to college and even considered studying geology. The goldfield's allure was too much. He used his education funds to start his own mining business rather than a lecture hall. It was a choice that would change your life. He assumed control of the Big Nugget Mine's daily operations at the age of 16. A young man leading a team of experienced men twice his age, he was more than just the grandson of a boss. He demonstrated that he possessed the skills, perseverance, and work ethic necessary for leadership. The debut of Gold Rush on Discovery Channel was his big break. This youthful prodigy captured the attention of the audience. However, being well known on television was insufficient. In his late teens, he astonished everyone by leaving his family's thoughts and aiming for the fabled Yukon goldfields. It was an enormous risk. He put together a crew, leased land, and went all in. The gamble came off handsomely. He extracted over 1,000 ounces of gold from the icy ground during his first solo season. It was more than just a mine. It was a remote realm that had been sculpted out of nature. Extremes abound on the Klondike. The mining season is a desperate race against the impending winter and is mercilessly brief. Before the gold-bearing pay dirt can even be accessed, the ground must be cleared of permafrost, a layer of frozen earth that resembles concrete. I mean, there's a reason it's called permafrost. Because it's frozen forever. We would really benefit from at least 4 hours of temperatures over 35. In order to keep up with stripping and slewing simultaneously, we need some warm weather. The issue, though, is that we're already using a large portion of our workforce to simply try to keep the facility supplied. A single delayed shipment might cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, making the logistical challenge of getting fuel, parts, and supplies to such a remote site a logistical nightmare. Parker flourished in this harsh environment, which doesn't overlook faults. He was successful outside of the main show as well. It branched off into Gold Rush, Parker's Trail, where he attempted perilous routes from the Chilkoot Trail to the thick rainforests of Papua New Guinea, following in the footsteps of legendary gold miners. However, there was a personal price for this unwavering commitment. The strain of his all-consuming commitment to mining finally caused his relationship with Ashley Uhl, an Australian veterinary nurse who participated on the show, to break down. He himself acknowledged it. First was always mining. His undivided focus is more intense than ever as he approaches the age of 30. However, he is learning that the human component of his machine has its limitations as he pushes his operation harder and quicker. The numbers best illustrate Parker's dominance and the strain that accompanies it. The Gold Rush record books reveal a distinct and indisputable trend. Gold mining is a harsh industry with both gains and losses. In Season 3, Todd Hoffman's team was rejoicing after a respectable year in which they extracted more than 800 ounces of gold valued at over $1 million. A adolescent Parker was stealthily extracting almost 200 ounces at the same time. A portent of things to come. Season 4 then arrived. The game was eternally altered. Land at Scribner Creek is being leased. An amazing 800 ounces were mined by Parker and his team, which included a recently acquired Chris Doumit. Unsatisfied, he and Rick Ness broke Hoffman's records and established a new king in the Klondike by pushing their final total to over 100 ounces. The numbers were startling from there. Parker's group made about $3 million in Season 5, hauling in over 2,500 ounces of gold. All the gold is lined up in there. Gold can be found here. These riffles may be a lot of work, but they might be effective. This year, Parker tossed down 2,000 ounces, thought 1,000 was challenging. We will always require excellent cleanups. The Hoffman, unable to keep up, managed to consume more than 1,300 ounces. The distance was growing. There was no contest by Season 6. An incredible 3,300 worth around $3.5 million was mined by Parker's crew. The seasoned veteran Tony Beets started up his ancient dredge and extracted more than 700 ounces. Even though the Hoffmans had a successful season with just over 3,000 ounces, they were still much behind them. But the climb went on. Over 4,300 ounces, worth over $5 million, were delivered in Season 7. The crew exceeded all expectations in Season 8, mining nearly 6,200 ounces valued at an astounding $7.5 million. Although Tony Beet continued to weigh more than 3,600 ounces, he was no longer the standard. By the time Season 9 arrived, Parker Schnabel had established himself as one of the Yukon's most determined and astute miners. However, he went above and above that season. He set the lofty target of 7,000 ounces of gold, and he smashed it in addition to reaching it. By the end, Parker and his team had retrieved more than 7,400 ounces, which is about $9 million. Not only was it spectacular, it was an obvious indication that Parker was acting completely differently. He even took a plane all the way to Australia to research new mining methods. The strain Parker is under in Season 15 is unlike anything he has ever experienced. He's not merely attempting to make it through another season, his goal is to surpass his own mythology. Every ounce matters, every decision counts, and everyone is watching to see if he can surpass the amazing record he has already set. Everyone is still wondering what will happen as a result of Chris Doumit's choice. Is Parker Schnabel's empire finally collapsing under the weight of striving for unachievable goals? For more startling Gold Rush updates, like and subscribe to this video.